Hello everybody, today we're going to be doing something a little bit crazy. We're going to be going for some rolls and trying to pull out some legendaries, right? So I have 2 weeks of experience in Raid Shadow Legends and currently I'm sitting with a decent team that I've managed to assemble with all the free rewards as a new player as well as a little bit of spending. But I've kind of gotten to a point where I am feeling a little bit bored. Most of the excitement that I get out of this game is in having a project that I want to be working towards. And at this point that I'm sitting at, I currently don't have one. I've gotten my team as kind of decked out as I can, up to a point, without really taking into consideration all the grinding and upgrading gear and farming silver and all of that stuff. And what I'm really lacking at the moment is what I mentioned. I want to be going for a little bit of spending and I want to be going for a little bit of excitement. So that's what we're going to be doing exactly today. There is an event which we'll check out in a second after we finish this run on the clan boss, where we will just have a high chance, with a little bit of spending of course, of pulling one legendary at least, right? Hopefully one. We're really aiming for one without actually going too heavy on the spending. So join me today as we go and do exactly that. Okay, the clan boss run is finished and we're not doing too bad for only 2 weeks of progress. As you can see, Akentum is doing most of the work. Unfortunately, he's dying a little bit too fast. And yes, I definitely need to go and get a lot of work done into him, because at this point he is still a little bit weaker. He doesn't have the best gear, honestly. So that's what we really want to be having going on for him. But that is really just a matter of grinding it out, getting enough silver and just crafting enough stuff, farming enough stuff, so eventually I can build it up, right? Freeze! Click the link in the description right now and get a free legendary Karato as well as 2 free epics as you level up. So here's what you need to do. First of all, log out of Plarium Play on PC and uninstall. Then click the link in the description of this video and register a brand new email. Launch Raid and complete the tutorial, and then go to your inbox and claim your first champ. You'll find Karato here as well as Tagoar and Uugo as you progress through the game. This is an amazing account starting Raid, so click the link right now and follow the steps. And if you are a Legend of Mushroom player, I also got a special link down there in the description. Don't miss out on this offer, go ahead and check it out now. So instead of going for that simple grinding, crafting and upgrading gameplay loop, which is honestly what the game is all about, I want to add some spice to it, right? So there we go, that's my Akentum at the moment, sitting in a very poor setup, especially the jewels, right? Like the rings, the necklace and the banner. So I do need a little bit of an extra spice to it, and I need some more champions that are gonna be allowing me to do some higher content a little bit easier, because as it is right now, even if I really upgraded my current setup, I wouldn't really be able to do that much of that. So what are we gonna be doing? We're gonna be doing the summoning event over here, which we got going on right now with the Sylvan summon pool, right? So we can pull out some massive stuff out of this. First and foremost, we're gonna have a decent chance, only a 2% that is of course, but it's gonna be a decent chance, a total of 6% of pulling one of these legendaries. So the main star of the whole game here is going to be Bladechorister Caldor. He's a pretty strong attack champion. He's rated at 4.5 in Hell Hades. So let's check a little bit of his kits. He's going to have a stun as well as each target's resistance for each continuous heal buff on him, which I'm assuming he's going to be placing on himself. There we go. He's going to be applying some continuous heals. This is a very long skill to read through. If the target is an ally, increase the duration of all buffs on all allies for 1 turn. If the target is an enemy, decreases the duration of all buffs on all enemies by 1 turn. So you got a little bit of debuffing, rather removing buffs as well as debuffing, then applying heals, and then also increasing your own team's buffs, right? So he's doing a little bit of everything. He's also going to be filling his turn meter by each buff or debuff placed by this skill. So that is insane. Actually, this skill is insane just by reading a little bit through it. Then we also got there is a lot of stuff going on depending on the faction. This is kind of like a faction champion, which I haven't really seen too much in this game so far. He's gonna be also placing a decreased defense debuff as well as a weakened debuff, and then he's gonna be doing some extra target resistances ignore based off of if he has continuous heals once again. Then he's got a passive here going on which will ignore 15% of the target's defense while attacking under the Veil or Perfect Veil, which I'm not too sure I've read on his kit. I don't think he's applying a Perfect Veil. Actually, no, he is. He's gonna be placing Perfect Veils on the champion for 2 turns. Okay, so yeah, he's got it all. all, he's going to be doing a lot of stuff in general. Then he also is going to be increasing crit rate of all allies by 25%. That is insane. And also increasing speed only to Sylvian Watchers. Okay, so you really need this guy if you are trying to go for a Sylvian or Sylvan rather Watcher comp, right? So this is the star of the show. If we manage to get this, it's definitely going to be insanely crazy. But we also got some more stuff. We got a line here, which I already have, a very strong healer. Wouldn't mind getting a second copy offer, but I honestly rather get something else. We got some more supports going on here with Austrian Dream Song, if I pronounce that correctly. And then we also are really interested in getting another support over here, Glycat the Meltwater, right? He's also quite a tough support. He's gonna be having some freezes on his kit, as well as some increased attack on your allies. That's 50% increased attack, insanely strong. Also a big chance of placing a perfect Bale buff on everybody, so that's also synergizing with the other legendary we already checked out. And then also some buffs here with increased accuracy and increased defense, and a revive on all their allies with quite some HP, right? So that is a very loaded kit. He also has a passive that when he's under perfect Bale, he is going to be dealing a little bit more damage, but he's a support. He's not really going to be doing that much damage anyways. But allies are also going to be getting that buff while they are under the perfect Bale, so that's going to be great for a lot of your attack champions. And then he might also be using his speed aura, which could be nice in some settings. But all in all, he is definitely stacked up, and so are all the other options here. We got some of the epics here that are showcased as being able to be obtained from this event. It's going to be running from 3 days from now, so that's at least when you can buy the crystals, right? So what options do we have? We're going to be able to buy some of these, like we got a 210 shards. It's a large crystal pack, which is going to be giving me 210, which I need 40 off for every summon, right? So that's going to be giving me a little bit over 5 summon chances when buying this, right? So we're going to be going for this one for now, and let's see what we get out of those 5s, and let's see if we go any further from that, right? So we're going to be using Aptoide for this whole thing, right? So the deal about Aptoide is what you can see in the screen. If I am using my real money, which I will, I am going to be getting a bonus amount of money that can go from 10% of what I'm spending right now all the way up to extra 35% of what I'm spending, right? So picture that I would be buying this, and 35% of the value of the pack is going to be coming to me as a bonus, as a cashback. So once I do have enough of those cashbacks, I could go ahead and use the Aptoide balance, which would be the name of the cashbacks, to do the purchase for me instead of actually using my real money. So right now I think I got about 12 bucks accumulated as bonuses from the purchases that I've been doing. So I cannot yet use that instead to do the payment, so I would need to be going ahead and using my money. But if I do enough of the purchases, eventually I'll have enough of the bonus to buy the thing for me. So now let's go ahead to the PayPal and buy the thing. So there we go, we bought it and we got the bonus, and now we're gonna be getting the crystals in a second, so we'll be able to go ahead and do the summoning, right? So there we go, got 210. We also got the bonuses, so we might even be able to buy some more of these things, maybe even afford the medium crystal pack eventually. For now, this is what we got. We got 5 chances if the math is right, so we can only do them one at a time. We actually need some more slots, so let me just go ahead and do that real quick. Okay, there we go. We used up some of our trash tier champions just so we level up some other guy. We don't really care too much about any of that. So we are now able to go back into the summoning spree, right? Okay. We are going to be having a few chances, but it's 6% of getting a legendary and 94% of getting an epic. So let's keep our fingers crossed. Let's go. First try over here. We're doing it. We're doing it. Is it going to be happening? Okay, first time it's not going to be happening, but we're going to be getting Creodan the Blue. So let's check him out. He is sitting at a 3.5 overall rating in Hell Hades at the moment. He's a support champion. He's not terrible by any means with 3.5. He is going to be having a freeze on his A1 with random attacks on 3 enemies, and then, well, that is going to be only lasting for 1 turn, which is not too exciting. He's also going to be having another freeze chance on his A2 with an attack to all enemies. Then he will have a speed increase buff on all allies, also filling the turn meter. I think that's why he's a support champion, and also some sort of stunner. And finally, he will have his passive over here, which is going to be filling his turn meter by 5% every time he's applying a freeze debuff. So I know freeze is not really that strong in Raid Shadow Legends, but if you could get some synergy working with him, then you might be able to have some sort of stun lock composition. Unfortunately, I don't think that on its own is gonna be making him that great of a champion, but I mean, I guess we could have gotten worse. Okay, so that is one of the tries out of the way. Let's go ahead and do another one. So let's go and summon. Fingers crossed once again. Please let me see some yellow stuff. No, not happening. Okay, we're getting another epic here. Cormac, the High Peak. Now, Cormac is sitting at an overall rating of 3. He's an attack champion. He's not as great as the one we got before, and let's see what he's all about. So, A1 is going to be having a decent chance of placing a decreased speed debuff on one enemy. Nothing too crazy. He's going to be also having a chance of placing a decreased defense on the target that he's going to be attacking. So, again, a single target debuffing, although it's a pretty decent decreased defense. So not too terrible for bossing. Then 50% increased accuracy buff and 30% increased crit rate buff on this champion for 3 turns, and also getting him an extra turn. So he's becoming aggressive over there. We got a pretty decent single target attacker, but no attacks that are really going to be synergizing with the rest of the team. And then he's going to be also increasing all attack in all battles. So he straight up just do a lot of damage and debuff the enemy. Unfortunately, yeah, he might be decent in some setups. Maybe we can check him out over here and see. He kind of like seems a little bit good on the Ice Golem in particular, but overall no very good baitings in any kind of content. So let's go ahead directly into the next summon. Please let us see some yellow. Let's go, let's go, let's go. Not happening still, but we're gonna get Ruella. Ruella though sits at an overall rating of 4, so she is one of the better champions that I even got on my whole kit. As you can see, she also has a lot of reviews, and she seems to be very decent for the Fire Knight Castle in particular, Faction Wars, very high scores overall. But she really seems to be overall the greatest on the Fire Knight Castle. Let's see what she does. So she's gonna be attacking one enemy 3 times. Of course, triple hitters, always great in the Fire Knight. Each critical hit has an 80% chance of stealing 5% of the target's turn meter. So again, turn meter decreasing, that is always insane on the Fire Knight. Now let's see this one. Attack one enemy 3 times. Again, another triple hit, perfect for the Fire Knight. Each hit has a 50% chance of placing a decreased defense debuff and 25% weaken debuff, as well as a 30% decreased speed debuff. So you got 3 debuffs on one attack. That is pretty much what you want on an attack champion. She's going to be doing quite some damage, as well as reducing that turn meter, as well as debuffing the hell out of the enemy. And finally, we got the last skill here, which is going to be filling the turn meter of all allies by 20% and placing an increased crit rate buff on all of them for 2 turns. So this one on itself also insane, but a very high cooldown. You're going to need to level it up to get it down to only 3 turns. Overall, great kit. And then she's also going to be increasing accuracy in all dungeons. She's got a very good kit, as you can see, of course, particularly for the Fire Knight, and she's just overall great. So she would be a perfect fit for sure for Faction Wars, any kind of team you want to be building with her. Let's move on to the next summon. Please, let's see some yellow, and still not happening, man. We got a second copy of her, which is a little bit underwhelming after just getting her, but of course that comes with some benefits if I am actually going to be using her. But I would rather have gotten something else to put together a bigger team of Sylvan Watchers, that is for sure. But yeah, I mean, I could have gotten worse things overall, I'm assuming. So at this point, we are only sitting at how many more shards? We got 50, so that's gonna leave us with 10 extra, which we cannot really use for anything. So let's pray. We had an overall, whatever, like, we've got 4 tries, and I don't know, the math I know doesn't work like that, but that would have been like a 24% chance of getting a legendary. I know the math is not the way it works like that, but yeah, this should give us like about a 30% chance. Let's see if it actually happens. Please, let's see it. Raid Shadow Legends, this can be a yellow one, and it's not. Unfortunately, it's not, but it's a different champion. It's Myceliac Priest Ornn. So he also sits at an overall rating of 4, which is pretty decent. He's an HP champion, so that means a little bit of a tank, beefy guy. So let's see what it does. He's gonna be applying some poisons. Okay, just a little bit of a debuff over there. Then he's also gonna be activating those poisons. Is that right? He's gonna be placing the poisons, and then chance of triggering the poison instantly. Okay, so he's a poisoner. And then he's also gonna be having an attack all champions 50% chance of placing 2 5% poison debuffs and 25% poison sensitivity, which is gonna be increasing their damage intake from poison, I'm assuming. Let me just go ahead real quick and read it. Yes, it increases all the damage taken from poison's debuff by 25%, so they just take more damage from that. And finally, heal this this champion by 1% of their max HP for each poison placed by this skill. So if you're doing something like the spider, then you would get so many poisons out, you would be healing up, I don't know, by like 10% every time, which is not to say that it might not be happening too regularly, because the spiders could just be dead anyways. But yeah, let's see the last one over here, the passive. Whenever a poison debuff is activated on an enemy, increases this champion's HP and defense by 5%, stacking up to 25, and it's gonna be resetting each round. So you could just have a little bit of a defensiveness setup going on here with this guy, and then heal a lot of that damage that you take back up with the third ability over here. Let's see what the reviews here say that he's good at. That's gonna be the Dragon Slayer mainly. I'm assuming, not really sure why honestly, because you're not really gonna be getting too many poison spreads on the Dragon Slayer, but you're gonna be getting a decent use of him in most forms of dungeon content. You can see Ice Golem, Faction Wars, a Demon Lord here for the clan boss, and then yeah, that's pretty much going to be it. He is a decent guy. He's supposed to be beefy and built as a tank. Yeah, unfortunately no legendaries so far. We've gotten 5 tries in. Let's see what we can do now. Now I'm just taking a look at my Aptoide wallet real quick here to see how much I've got. So I got 11 euros, so I don't have the funds at the moment to buy anything with that. Let's just go back to the game. Before we buy the smaller packs, let's just go ahead and do 2 more summons. We got enough resources for 2 more. We are really hoping for that 6% chance of a legendary. Come on, game, you can do it. I know you can. Please go ahead and give it to me. So can we see some yellow? It's not gonna be Jello. It took a little while to load over there. We got another Creodan the Blue somehow, so we got 2 times the same epic. That is pretty unfortunate. Is he even over here? I'm not too sure. I don't think these icons are any of him. We did get Myceliac as well, and we did get the other one, which I don't recognize the icon from. Yeah, so that is a pretty low chance of getting 2 times 2 repeated epics, but I'm guessing, yeah, of course, we are gonna be getting a lot of those. I think Cruella's over here, Ruella's over here. So the pool is not that big, but yes, we are really hoping for that one lucky 6%. So we got one more try before we go and buy anything else. Let's go ahead and do it. Come on, game. You got it. You got it. Let's go. Let's show it up. No, man. What are you doing, game? Okay, we got Enda Moonbeam. Now, Enda Moonbeam is a little bit terrible. She's sitting at 2.5, and I'm saying she because the name sounds feminine, but this is definitely a guy. He's buffed like crazy. So let's check a little bit of what he does since he's an epic. Attack one enemy has a 30% chance of placing a 60% decreased debuff for 2 turns on a single target. Attack 3 times at random. Each hit has a 75% chance of increasing the duration of a random debuff. Okay, and then he is also going to be having a leech attack here, applying the debuff on all enemies for 2 turns. Okay, so a little bit of debuffing, but nothing too crazy. And then finally, he's gonna be increasing this champion's speed by 2% for each enemy under leech debuff. So his kit doesn't look crazy at all, but he's decent. I mean, he's got some use everywhere, basically. He's definitely gonna be a good champion for a faction wars composition. Unfortunately, he's not shining too much on his own. Okay, I'm thinking I'm gonna be buying another one of the big packs, and then instead of going for 2 of the 20 single shard small pack, we'll be only buying 1 with the bonuses. So that way we will have a total of I don't know, what is it, like 5 times 2, and then we bought 1 of these, so that is 3, actually 2 more tries. So we're gonna have like 12, 13 tries, something like that. We're gonna have 13 tries in total, which is not the lucky number, but it's gonna be working for us, hopefully, right? Hopefully. Let's go ahead and see. Let's buy this pack first and foremost, and then we'll see what we get out of that. First, let's go ahead and do this purchase. There we go. We got the bonuses right now. They go 7 euros 20. So now we're gonna be going ahead and just going with the rolls once again. So we are going to be doing 5 more. Let's go. 5 more, and it's gonna be legendary. Let's go, please. And it's gonna be, no, it's not. Unfortunately, it's not still. We got Kellen the Shrike, who is an attack champion. Kellen the Shrike is a 3.5 overall, so he's not the greatest, but he's got a bit of a weaken on his A1 and a single target attack. Then he is also gonna be applying a decreased speed debuff on a single enemy, placing Perfect Veil on himself. A 75% chance of decreasing the target star meter by 50%. That is insane, though. That is quite great. And then the second hit has the chance to apply the decreased speed debuff. Then he's also going to be attacking all enemies. What's going to happen? The damage is going to be increasing by 5% for each debuff on the target. Okay. And then finally, he's got a passive where he's going to be ignoring shield buffs while he's under Perfect Veil. So he is basically a decreased turn meter champion. and he's gonna be quite a good one at that is for sure. But overall, not the greatest, but he's gonna be definitely very, very good for Faction Wars team. So let's move on ahead and do one more. Actually, we got 4 more to go. Is it going to be a legendary? Let's see. No, man. What is going on? We got so many tries and not a single one at this point. I am going crazy. Pan the Bowhorn. He's sitting at 3.5 as the overall score in Hell Hades. He's going to be applying a freeze debuff, and then it's going to be ignoring the target's resistance if the speed is equal or less than the champion's speed. That's not too bad. Then he is also going to be attacking all enemies and placing an increased attack buff and 30% increased speed on himself. So it's going to be doing quite some damage on a single target. That is, actually, that's an AoE attack, never mind. And then he's also going to be having a True Fear debuff. He's going to be applying that with a very high chance on one enemy, each hit ignoring 10% of the target's difference, and then he's going to be ignoring 50% of the target's resistance if the speed is once again equal or lesser than this champion's. And then if it's a boss, there's going to be a big chance of applying a weaken instead, or rather a weaken on top of everything, and will ignore again the target's resistance if the conditions meet. And on his aura is going to have an increased speed, so that you obviously want to be building a lot of speed on him, so he will always be proccing his secondary effects on his attacks. He's an overall very good champion, of course, always great for Faction Wars, and we're gonna have a very good Silver Watchers Faction Wars team out of getting all of these guys. Let's go ahead with the last 3 tries after these purchases we just did, and this is gonna be legendary. Come on, man, let's do it. Not happening. It's insane. We got a massive dude over here. Dude and the Runic. He's overall at 3 stars, or rather 3 overall score on the Hell Hades website. He is actually pretty decently valued overall on all content, so he is not that bad as it seems to be in Hell Hades. He's a beefy champion though. He's an HP champion. He's going to be having a 50% chance of removing a debuff from all allies. Okay. He's also going to be applying a shield buff on all allies for quite a little bit of his HP, and increasing the duration of all buffs on all allies by 1 turn. And then he's also going to be placing taunts on this champion, so he's going to be taking the aggro and then placing strengthen and counterattack on himself. So he's definitely a beefy ass kind of champion, also increasing all defense in all battles. Alright, 2 more chances so far with the shards we bought, and is it finally going to be some jello on the screen? No, man, we got the same champion once again. What is this? This is crazy. Let's just do the next one real quick. I don't want to see the same champion 3 times. Please give me some jello in the screen. And no, man, it's not happening. We got Arvid Quivergrass. Now, Arvid is not the greatest. She only has a 2.5 rating, and you can kind of see that reflected over here as well in game. She's only really good on the Faction Wars, but she's okay in Arena somehow. She's an attack champion. Let's see what she does. She's gonna have a chance of stealing a buff. She's also gonna be removing all debuffs from herself when she does this thing, and then also removing a random buff from all enemies. Okay, then she's also gonna be placing an unkillable buff. If this champion has no active debuff, she will be placing that on herself. Damage is going to be increased if she has no active debuffs, so she really wants to be removing her debuffs, and then she will get into a state where she's a little bit stronger. And finally, she has a passive where her accuracy is going to be increased if she once again has no active debuffs. And finally, she has a little bit of an increased attack on the aura. At this point, we ran out of the shards, so we are going to be going ahead and buying the last summon. So what we're going to be doing is buying one last small pack of 20, so we can finally get a whole 40 shards for one last summon. We're gonna be doing this using the balance we got from Aptoide, right? So what we want to be doing is first and foremost get enough of the balance, which you can see I have right here in my wallet after doing all the purchases that I've been doing in this video. And now we'll go back to raid and just try to buy this. So what we'll do is we'll click on it as if we were going to be buying it regularly with our own money, and instead of selecting PayPal, we're gonna be selecting the Aptoide balance and straight up just go ahead and click buy, and that should be enough. It's gonna be giving me the thing that I just bought in a few seconds, and we are gonna be able to go ahead and use them, right? So that's pretty much it. We got them on our wallet now, or rather we used the money on our wallet, so now we should have on our account the extra 40 or rather 20 shards in a moment, unless I need to go back. I don't think I need to redeem them from here, so just give it a second. There we go. So after a little while it went into my account, so there we go. We got the 40 shards over here, and we also got the register of the purchase here, which we just did with our own balance, which is now down to 23 bucks. So we're gonna be doing the last one summon here. We've done a total of, I don't even know if it's like 13 in total. I guess we just probably hope to end it in a higher note. Please give me a legendary. It's not happening, man. It's not happening. And we just got the same art with Quivergrass, which we have gotten in the past as well. So yes, but at least managed to put together a decent set of champions from the Sylvan faction here. So yes, we will come up with some good teams out of that, but we're gonna have to do a lot of leveling, putting the team together with all the upgrades that they need. This is gonna be it for the video, guys. Hopefully you enjoyed it. Let me know what you think about it, and please go ahead and check out Aptoide. Remember to go ahead and use my code if you opt into using it. Definitely a very good idea if you're gonna be doing any purchases within Raid Shadow Legends, just like I showed you in here. So yes, let me know. Any comments down below in the comment section. Like, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye bye. See you.